Oh, this is being totally redeveloped. Look at this. Hey, this is neat. Welcome to Dan's on This Street. I'm Dan. I'm exploring the entire world city by city, as seen through Google Maps and Google Street View. And today I'm back in the United States, in the state of North Carolina, visiting the city of Winston-Salem. Interesting old town. Interesting name, kind of dual name to it. Read a little bit about its history. I'm excited to check this out. Let's start in clearly the downtown area. Not a huge city. About 250,000 people here. Maybe more than double that in the metropolitan area, but right around 250,000. And we're on the street here looking at a beautiful sunny day here. What a welcoming sight already. A few taller towers here. Some nice shopping. Let's start moving around and see what we can find. Jimmy John's. A few people out and about. A couple nice restaurants that we're immediately greeted with. This is nice. The city is, of course, known for its involvement in the tobacco industry historically. If you're familiar with Camel cigarettes, they're from here, as well as a number of other, I think, cigarette brands. Tobacco just played a big part in its history. Look at this great design on this building here. A little understated, all the same color, but I like the look of that. That's very nice. Good sidewalks here. Pretty tight streets, actually, right in this area. Some older storefronts. This looks like it was a theater at one point. Probably not anymore. Maybe perhaps just a showroom. CVS. Here's an empty lot. Looks like this is being developed into something. You always want to see that. That's great. Let's take a left here. We'll move all around this city. And we'll get outside of the downtown area too, I promise. I always like starting downtown though. Some older buildings. So this town was formed in the merging of two previous towns, Winston and obviously Salem. And that joining happened back in 1913. Here's the Greyhound station. Weird amount of blurring going on here. I'm not sure if that's an error or people trying to blur out their buildings. Looks like a government building here on the left, perhaps. Got the flag out. Maybe a bus or train station, perhaps. A bunch of buses parked under here. Obviously, we saw the Greyhound station there. Parking lots. So, the two towns, well, the original town really was Salem, from what I read, which was formed as it was a Moravian church, started, essentially, it seemed from what I read, a sort of commune. It was a religious commune, and they formed the town back in 1753. So it was a Moravian church, and the town was really exclusively for the Moravians. Interesting building there. I think we'll get back to that one in a bit. So you actually couldn't, perhaps you could visit, but you couldn't live in the city of Salem, unless you were part of the Moravian church or part of that commune, which is a bit unusual, although not unheard of. And that lasted all the way up until basically into the Civil War, and then they kind of broke that down. Here's the old bank and trust building, and a nice new thing, something new going in here. Glassy Tower there. This one, again, I'll get back to that building because there's some interesting history with that one, from what I read. Lovely weather out here. Again, looks like somebody's selling hot dogs maybe, that kind of thing. Street food. Interesting tower up here. This is the tallest building in the city, from what I read. 100 North Main Street. This was built back in 95. I kind of like it. It's not, I don't know, not too flashy. Has a really interesting top to it. It's 460 feet tall. Very wide. Or, it's kind of a just chunky building, not very thin. Yeah, look at that. It's good style, though. This is designed by Cesar Pelli, the same guy who designed the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur, which I've actually visited on this tour already. That was quite a good time. It's got this really interesting granite dome. It's the only granite-topped skyscraper in the world, I read. Which, that's kind of an interesting claim to fame. Real glassy one here next to it. A glass wall. You see those all over the place, but that's a pretty good one. A little bit of a hill here, not completely flat. Not at all. Definitely kind of some elevation changes. Lots of people in big cars and SUVs, that kind of thing. I like this series of buildings here. I'm curious if we'll run into some of the buildings related to that old commune. This one has a sign out front here. Shamrock Mills, something like that. Perhaps this was related. I like that style. With the sunlight coming in at that angle. It's great design. Church off here to the right, it looks like. Let's see. I'm going to pop up. Again, this is really well mapped here. Isn't this great that we can orbit around like this? I always love to see that. It's not universal that you can get that kind of look. Look at this park here. This is kind of neat. I'm going to drop in here. Oh, this is great. I couldn't tell what this was from above. Some sort of fountain. Looks like it's closed right now. November. Yeah, probably closed for the season. Big blue sky. And I'll pop back up. I like that park though. Nice place to sit and eat your lunch if you work downtown. Bankruptcy court. Hopefully you don't end up there. Let's see. Detention center. Well, hopefully you don't end up here either. Look at that. It's kind of interesting. These like twin towers. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, you don't want to end up there. Power plant. Let's drive down 4th Street here a bit. Look at this old place. Coming soon. Oh, this is being totally redeveloped. Look at this. Hey, this is neat. This used to be a power plant, and they clearly stopped using it at some point, but they did not take down these giant smokestacks, and it's being converted into some sort of modern apartment building, office space, office and retail space. Okay, that's great. It even looks like they're going to preserve maybe this building on the corner. Not quite sure about that, actually. Certainly these smokestacks. I like seeing a redevelopment like that. Preserve what you can. Better than just tearing it all down. At least, that's my opinion, but I'd rather see that than losing all of it. Leaf tobacco. All right. Again, lots of tobacco history, which I'll get into here in a bit. While I have your attention, I'd like to encourage you to check out my Patreon page. $3 a month. You get bonus tours. I've gone on several already. Going to be regularly putting those out. And if you enjoy this and you want to support me, that's how you can do it. Come along, see some extra tours, and I'd appreciate it a lot. Short of that, subscribe and give it a thumbs up and leave a comment or something like that. I appreciate it. There's a bit of the skyline back there. Back to its history. So that was Salem, basically, the commune, and they sold off some of their land north of the city to the county, and that became the town of Winston. And I'm not sure how far north, maybe just slightly north or all the way up here maybe. I'm not quite sure where that town would have been, but essentially part of it, or very near. And at some point in the 1860s, around 1868, they decided to work together to connect their towns to the rail line. Let's go down some small street up here, maybe. Some smaller homes. Quiet, a lot quieter out here. A few apartment buildings. Older vehicle here on the right, that's neat. Oh, I love that. Can't beat that style. Well, maybe you can, I don't know. It's pretty good style though. So they connected to the rail line, and right around basically in the same year, one local started a tobacco factory, a warehouse. This is so pretty out here. Real quiet. Very green. And almost immediately, I don't know, everyone got the word, or maybe it was just such a huge success, that first one. But within just 10, 15 years, there was 40 tobacco factories in the cities. And it just started booming. And of course, people were smoking like crazy back then, to a far greater extent than they are today. And let's drop in over here. Just see some random streets. Looks like some shopping on this street. True Vale. Not sure what's in there. Carpet One. I have a good guess what's in there. I just passed by a Tesla there. This looks like a bar, maybe. That looks pretty cool. I like that style. The Snob Shop. Huh. Interesting name. I like the balloons out though. Feels inviting. Smoky Shays. Wonder what the tobacco use is in Winston-Salem. Camel City Hemp. Well, that says something at least. Barbershop here. Anyway, so the dominant force, the company that won out was Richard Reynolds, and he started buying up those other companies, forcing them out of business, perhaps buying their businesses, and by around the turn of the century, he was the only one in town really operating. By around 1900, and he employed like half the city. And they were doing major importing of Turkish tobacco and French cigarette paper. I like these big homes out here. These are very pretty. Nice old 1910, 1920s homes. Maybe a few from even the late 1800s, right around there. And a few from maybe the 30s. Big place here on the left. You have to think some of the families that back then, people are still living in these homes today, of course, but family sizes used to be so big, especially at least in the U.S. way back then, that you really needed these homes with 5-6 bedrooms and so forth. There's a baseball park up here. BB&T Park. Not sure who plays there. The Winston-Salem Dash. All right. Farm team, I guess, of some sort. Never heard of them. The Salem Cemetery. Center for Design and Innovation. I wonder where is this looks like a farm down here? Or, oh no, this is part of the graveyard. Ton of people out today. My goodness, what is going on today? Everyone out celebrating maybe Memorial Day? It's an unusual sight. There you can see the skyline again. That building really does tower over everything. Huh. Well, nice to see people out remembering those who have passed. Old Salem Museums and Garden. Okay, this looks like some of the old town, maybe, perhaps. Here's Salem College. Some of these buildings in here have that look of maybe the old original town, even from above. Oh yeah, okay. Some of this has been restored, some of it original. You can definitely, this is where that town was. That old commune, I think. All these buildings would have been related to their life here. Wow. Love seeing this. I love these old towns in the United States. I've visited several myself that were kind of... Look at this place. Fantastic. Yeah, I visited several that were part of various religious groups. I live in Pittsburgh. There's one not far from me that is similar, much smaller, but interesting. Always enjoy looking around there. University here. Salem College. I'm assuming these buildings date back to them. It sure has that look to some of them, right? Not necessarily these down here. These might be a bit newer, of course. Very neat, though. Love these red roofs. You can really sets the whole scene apart here. Montessori School. Moravian Archives. Okay. Oh yeah, this is definitely part of where they were. Without a doubt. Some great old buildings here. Loving that style. Great brickwork, right? Look at the way these graves are laid out from above. As, you know, compared to, say, this or something. This very linear style. That's interesting. Big home there. Can't really see that graveyard. Let's head back into town a little bit. Anyways, so by 1913, for a variety of reasons, they decided to join their towns. Rather, part of it was the post office started just referring to them as Winston-Salem, combined it. And obviously that's not why they changed, but it was like basically the world started seeing them as one town, and at some point it was like, all right, maybe we should just do this. So they joined together. Wonder if they celebrated their centennial a few years back. I'm sure they did. I think, is this that jail there? What's going on here? I feel like jumping up and down here. Government Center. Interesting. This has got to be that jail we saw. Oh yeah. Let's see. I want to get over to this building here. Yes, here it is. Okay, so this tower is very interesting. I want to get a close look at this. I was reading about it. Very interesting. So this is the Reynolds Tower, residence at R.J. Reynolds building. Okay, so this has been turned into apartments or lofts. If any part of this kind of looks familiar to you, it's because this was the same architects who built this in 1929 designed the Empire State Building. And they designed it like the next month. So this was essentially a prototype for the Empire State Building, and you really get that sense here. The Empire State Building is just an elongated version of this. Even the base to it, can't you feel that? It's got the Art Deco look. I wonder if I'm sure the lobby I hope it's been preserved. R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. That's wonderful. That sign's still there. Yeah, I'm sure the lobby in here is classic Art Deco design. I sure hope, at least. I mean, it's not incredibly impressive from right here, but knowing its part in the design of perhaps the most famous tower in the world, that's pretty neat. Yeah, very neat. That tobacco industry really kicked things off here. And by 1920, this was actually the largest city in the state. It's currently the 5th largest, from what I read. Is this the university here? Wake Forest Biotech Place. All right, yeah, so Wake Forest University is also here. I think they're north of town. Obviously, they have a school of medicine here downtown. They moved into town, I read, back in 1956. Not sure where their school is. I think it's... Oh, here it is. Yeah, Wake Forest. So this was all built, I guess, back in the 50s? I could be wrong about that. But, yeah. Maybe it has that look. Or it has the look of a much older campus, but it's possible that is just the design choice. Pretty good looking quad out here. Bunch of students out. I mean, it's, you know, it's a university. It's got that look. I think this is a very high-ranked university, though, Wake Forest. I don't know too much about it. Look at that, Raynolda Hall? Oh, I thought it said Raynolda. Not sure about that. Raynolda, okay. Interesting. Obviously, Reynolds, we just keep seeing that name. I'm not sure if that's related. Residence halls. I mean, again, it's got that classic college campus look to it, which is not a bad thing at all. I mean, it looks like a nice place. Really nice. Arnold Palmer Golf Complex. Not sure if... Did Arnold Palmer go to Wake Forest? Certainly he's donated money here. Look at this golf course they're developing. Oh, it looks like back in here as well. This might not be related, actually. That's a different club. Interesting. BB&T Field. Hey, this is a good side field. Look at this. So this is where Wake Forest plays. Not sure which division they're in. Nice looking stadium though. Airport's up here. Smith Reynolds Airport. Boy, that Reynolds guy, he got his name on everything. I mean, I guess this is what happens, again, if you employ half the town. Half the town's gonna end up being named after you. That makes sense. Small little airport, but nice that it's here, and proximity to the city is really great. I mean, we're very close. Land here, you're downtown in minutes. University of North Carolina School. Yeah, several college campuses here. Callidium downtown. What is this? Is this a, Children's Museum. Okay. Callidium. Oh, this looks like a fun place. This looks like some sort of knitted display webbing thing. It's kind of cool. I wonder if this represents where a home once stood. Maybe a famous home. I feel like I've seen something like that before where the original building is gone. They kind of put up maybe I saw that in Philadelphia or something. Like a framework of what was once there. I could be wrong. Some great old brick buildings in here, old bars. Camino. Or they were old bars. I'm not sure if that's very old. Kind of industrial over here. Oh, we just jumped way back in time. The quality just fell through the floor there. Let's see. Oh, let's check out Salem Lake. This is part of town, I think. Definitely a place I would check out if I lived here, without a doubt. Looks like there's actually a bridge up here. Very nice. Oh, very nice. I mean, yeah, nice big lake. Very pristine. Feels like, oh, July? This does not look like July. I don't think so. Maybe it was uploaded in July. It's got that more wintry feel. Salem Lake Playground. Interesting. Nice looking town though. A little smaller than some places I've been to lately, which I enjoy seeing that. Sometimes I've been going to these towns with, several million people, and it is hard, I'll tell you what. I mean, they're amazing places, but it's hard to see even a fraction of it. And while I know I'm going to miss a tremendous amount here in Winston-Salem, well, at least I saw a larger fraction than some places, I guess. Beautiful light coming in here. Could just picture driving into work here. Can't you? Sun coming up, maybe. Or, actually, you know what? Looks like that's west. Sun's going down. There's that tower I was talking about. Winston Tower in front of it. Here's the train. Looks like that one's out of commission at this point. This train line still comes through here. I'm not sure if there's any old train stations still around town. If there's any stops here. There's kind of snakes all through here. I like seeing these buildings that were designed after the train line. Sometimes that's kind of interesting to see. The way towns evolve. You can start piecing together which came first. This looks like a nice little street up here. Let's go through here. Yeah. Lots of trees through here. I like the look of an older development. That new development feel where there's not even a single tree yet is kind of alarming. I definitely like a neighborhood that's been around a while. Even 20 years or something is enough to get a little bit of that shine off it. Get those trees up. Huge house here. That's mad. Definitely some nice homes. Certainly was a little more wealth around here back in the turn of the century. The last turn of the century. That's going to be hard to say, right? I feel like we have a few terms. We felt so comfortable talking about things like turn of the century. I feel like even dates, for so long we could say, oh, back in 23, back in 32. Pretty quickly, that is going to be gone. I mean, I suppose that's always true to some extent. But I feel like I'm really going to notice it. Nice new library going in here. Look at this. Central Library. That's a good looking building. Glad they got the funding for that. Interesting building here. Nice place around here. Well, this has been very enjoyable. I know, again, I haven't seen too much, but I liked what I saw. And if you live in Winston-Salem and I missed some of your favorite places, which almost certainly I have, let me know and I'll come back and check them out. Or if I got some of your history wrong, I will happily be corrected. Foothills Brewing. Oh, I'll definitely go in there. How good does that look? This old place. What's that say? Mac? Not quite sure. Vintage, handmade, local. Those are my 3 middle names. Glorious Sub Club. I mean, yeah, I'd go in there. All right. This has been great. I'm going to call it a day, though. Let me add it to my map. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, tell your friends, share it around. I'd appreciate any of those, any or all. And of course, check out my Patreon. At least check it out. Think about it. If you don't decide you can afford $3 a month, I completely understand. I do understand. And check out some of my other videos, though. I was nearby in Asheville recently, in Savannah, Georgia a while back, all kinds of places all around the world. We are visiting every city in the world. All right, till next time.